Hey guys, Captain Mike Whiskey and Literature coming at you tonight with the whiskey. I do both book and whiskey reviews, hence whiskey and literature. This channel was conceived last year of the idea I wanted to read and review 52 books in 52 weeks. I decided I like whiskey as well, so let's throw some whiskey in the mix. And here we are doing both book and whiskey reviews, having a good time with it. Tonight though, it's about the whiskey. I just got back from Kentucky. Had a great time. Thanks for everybody who's watched my video. All the likes and subscribes and the comments, they are much appreciated. If you haven't seen that video, I'll throw the link in the description below. But I bought a bottle of Blanton's while I was in Kentucky, got it for MSRP, and I was really excited about that. When I came back and did my whiskey haul video, I went ahead and I opened one of my other bottles of Blanton's because I have 3 now. And so while I was drinking that, I thought, well, I want to know what else could I do a review just on the Blanton's or something else? So here tonight we have the Single Barrel Showdown, the OG of single barrels versus Tennessee Sour Mash. You know who I'm talking about. I don't even know why I turned the bottles around here other than I just wanted to do the little spinny thing tonight. So we have Blanton's Single Barrel Bourbon versus Jack Daniel's Single Barrel Select Tennessee Sour Mash. And I am really excited about this video tonight, and let's go through it. On the first, it might not seem like it's a fair competition, but I actually think it is. And I'm doing this tonight in shot glasses. Just kidding, I'm not. But I had some swag from Buffalo Trace. It's not a very big pour. And I had some swag from last year Jack Daniel's. And it is the same amount. I did measure it when I put it in there, so before we get to the video, I'm sure you know what a single barrel is. Some people might not know what a single barrel is, so let's just define it real quick. A single barrel is the smallest of small batches. What it is in the name, a single barrel. So there is it's not batched whiskey. Everything in this bottle came from one single barrel. So one question that I have is when they get to that last bit of the barrel, like the dregs, they finish that last full bottle and then they have a half bottle left of Blanton's or the Single Barrel Select. What do they do with that? Do they make half bottles of Blanton's? I think they make half bottles of the Single Barrel Select, and maybe they make even really tiny minis of Blanton's. I don't know, but what would they do with the very bottom of the dregs of the barrel? I mean, because they can't mix it into the next bottle, otherwise they can't call this a single barrel product. But anyway, if you know, let me know. Throw a comment below about what they do with that, or what are your thoughts on it. All right, let's talk about Blanton's first, and we'll talk about Jack Daniel's, and we'll go through both the whiskeys. Not gonna be a long video tonight. So Blanton's is the OG of single barrel bourbons and whiskeys. This was first rolled out in 1984. It was conceived and under the guidance of Elmer T. Lee. And as far as I know, it's been in consistent production since then. If you know different, you know what to do. Just let us know below. It's bottled at 93 proof. It is non-age stated, mash bill unknown. I know it's one of the Buffalo Trace mash bills. I don't know what it is. And the MSRP, I paid $63 for this at the Buffalo Trace Distillery. So I guess that is MSRP. Though prices and availability vary wildly depending on where you live. So let's get into the blends here a little bit. Cheers. I honestly have not had a lot of Blanton's. I bet in my lifetime I've had less than a bottle's worth of Blanton's bourbon. I've had a couple pours of they call it Blanton's from the barrel, the cask strength. I've had numerous pours at different bars and whatnot, but I bet I have not had a whole bottle's worth of it. It's not really my go-to bourbon. I've had a couple bottles on my shelf for months and I haven't even opened any of them. This was my first bottle that I opened, and this was 7/11/22, so not a very old bottle. Were you aware, and I just realized this today, or I just found this out today, that the stoppers, there's 8 different ones, and they basically depict a horse race from the first to the last. And my last Blantons that I just bought, it was the S. And so when I read that, I came and looked at my horse, and sure enough, he's kind of celebrating his victory there with the fist in the air on the S. And I believe the B, he's kind of getting ready to go. And all the ones are in the middle are very kind of similar, I think. But the last and the first are pretty distinctive. So I'm excited to have the S. I do like the nose, it's pretty subtle. There's some sweetness in there, maybe some honey, vanilla. I'm no expert on this sort of stuff. I think Mrs. Captain does it better than I. Just a hint of citrus maybe. It's a very nice nose. I don't drink a lot of Blantons, but I do like it. I would like to try the other product. When I was in Traverse City earlier this year, I was going to do a flight of 4 or 5 different Blantons. They wanted $100 for that. I thought that was a fair price, but I just burnt my tongue on some pizza or something, and I thought I really can't taste anything, so I didn't drop the coin on that flight of Blantons. And I was pretty sad that I couldn't get to experience all the different types of Blantons that are out there. But I figured $100, I can't even taste anything. So. More of that sweetness. It's a nice bourbon profile. From what I understand, these bottles are pretty consistent. It is a single barrel product. I feel like Jack Daniel's is kind of known for maybe some variation in the single barrels. Maybe you don't know what you're going to get on the next one and the next one. I feel like the single barrel selects have been more consistent than the single barrel proofs, but the Blanton's is known for being fairly consistent for a single barrel. And I don't know if that's good or bad. I mean, it's good in the sense that you know what you're going to get every time or close to it, but maybe, you know, part of the excitement is in the different slight variations in between the different single barrels. I don't know, what do you think? I think it is nice to have a consistent product. It would be nice to be able to maybe have just a minor variation between different bottles. But it is a nice product. Again, some more of that sweetness and some citrus on there, some oak on that taste. Not honey, maybe some brown sugar this time, but just that sweetness. It's a decent finish. It just matches what the palate is. Maybe just a bit of heat as it's finishing, but I really like Blanton's. I have not been drinking a lot of this, and so it's nice to have a different pour of something I've not been drinking a lot of lately. How about you? If you have some Blanton's at your house right now, would you be drinking it tonight? One of my goals this year, one of my commitments is to open more and more of my bottles. I don't buy bottles to just sit on them, other than the Whistle Pig Boss Hog, simply because that's my contract bottle. So once I get the contract at work, I'm gonna celebrate with the Boss Hog. But I have this year been opening more and more bottles to get into them. I was finding earlier this year I was consistently drinking kind of the same whiskey, so just opening more stuff because I buy it to drink it and not to have it sit on the shelf. All right, Jack Daniel's Single Barrel Select. Now this product's been available since 1997. It was kind of slept on. It wasn't really well known. Everyone was buying the old number 7. And then when the single barrel proof came out, it elevated the position of the single barrel select as well, and it became more popular and sought after. Also non-age stated. Mash bill is Jack Daniel's, just their mash bill, right? 80% corn, 12% malted barley, and 8% rye. Let's see, MSRP on this is $45.99. It's widely available. It's shelf stable. Anytime you walk into a whiskey store, they should have the Jack Daniel's Single Barrel Select. And it's certainly not as cool looking a bottle as the Blanton's. It's pretty iconic, a lovely, lovely bottle. But I do like the profile of this. It's, you know, it's nice classic Jim Beam profile. I do think it's a great looking bottle. A lot of their single barrel products are in that bottle, and I think it looks great. So again, cheers. Jack Daniels, we did the tour last year in Lynchburg and had a great time. I think when we did that tour, I only had 1 or 2 bottles of Jack Daniels at my house. And now I probably have 15 bottles of Jack Daniels, and I've really grown to appreciate the flavor profile and the new expressions that they've been putting out. I just had a pour of the Jack Daniels 27 Gold Maple finished in Kentucky. Yes, I drank Jack Daniels in Kentucky, and that was a great pour. I do have a bottle here. I'm gonna open it now because I really enjoyed that pour that I had in Kentucky. But I like the flavor profile of Jack Daniels. Man, nice sweetness. I get that honey. I get some banana. I mean, it's banana forward to me. So I used to eat at work. I would just take a whole loaf of bread with me. I would take some bananas and some honey. And that's what this nose reminds me of. Just some banana and honey, and I even get some of that bread. It just reminds me of that whole kind of sandwich that I used to eat all the time. I mean, I would eat 3 or 4 of those a day. I did that for a couple of years. Very, very nice nose profile. So I do like the single barrel proofs, and that gets a little crazy sometimes, but for $45.99, you can't go wrong with this Jack Daniel's Single Barrel Select. Yeah, it's so nice. On the Jack Daniels, this bottle here, what I'm getting is, again, that sweetness. It's banana forward to me again, but it's not that banana sandwich, but it sounds a little crazy, but it's that banana pancakes that I used to make. My kids, and I love my kids, but they didn't appreciate the pancakes that I used to make. And I would make them from scratch with love. And I would take those overripe bananas and I would smash them up, and I would actually put them in the pancake batter. I would mix it up with some vanilla, and that's what I'm getting, is that kind of overripe smashed banana with a little bit of bread and some vanilla. That's exactly what it's like I'm drinking here. It reminds me of Saturday and Sunday mornings with the kids, annoying them. And they take a bite of the pancakes and like, oh, is there a banana in here? Yes, there is. It does fall apart just slightly on the finish. You know, it's a creamy mouthfeel. I do like the Single Barrel Select. And it's just more of that sweetness on the finish, and it just kind of goes down. And it's just gone. It's not a crazy finish like the Single Barrel proof, and you never know what you're going to get on the finish. You have all that heat from the barrel proof and that high proof. It's just a crazy ride. This is much more sedate and subtle, and it's delicious. I think overall, just a little calmer than the barrel proof. Now, the question is, which one do I like? Which one do I like more? And I'm gonna say, which one do I like more tonight? Because if I did this again in a month or 2 months, the answer might change. I have been hitting the Jack Daniels kind of hard lately, and I've enjoyed that product. And I've been drinking a lot of Jack Daniels, and it's because I like it. And I did nothing against this pour here, but I really like the Blantons tonight, simply because it's something different. And I know that's exactly what I said on my Eagle Rare versus Russell Reserve video. I do really like the Russell Reserve, and I preferred the Eagle Rare that night simply because I had not drank a lot of Eagle Rare lately. Not that I didn't prefer it or like the Russell Reserve 10-year. I mean, it's a fantastic whiskey. But the same thing is going on tonight. Tonight, I'm really digging the Blantons, and I'm gonna have a second pour of this. It's a small pour. Second pour of this because I'm appreciating this different flavor profile, which I've not been hitting lately. How about you? Do you have a preference? And I know some guys that I work with, they disparage everything Jack Daniels. It's just Tennessee sour mash, and they're kind of the bourbon aficionados, and that's just what they drink is bourbon and only bourbon. And I don't get into that. Canadian whiskeys, Irish whiskeys, Scotches, Japanese, bourbons. I love High West. If you've watched any of my channel, you know that. Jack Daniels, I think, is a very, very nice product. And tonight, it's Blanton's in the house. All right, my friends, if you enjoyed the video, like it, it's free. Subscribe to see more of my content. Again, have book and whiskey reviews. And I hope you are reading something good and drinking something great tonight. Turn the pages and stay thirsty, my friends. Cheers.